Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Xbox Era podcast. As per the norm, I am joined by the wonderful Kaironaut and the enigmatic Shpeshal Ed, and it's been one hell of a couple of weeks.
Yeah, holy shit.
There is a lot to talk about.
And
I wish I had
much to talk about.
I wish I had like party poppers and stuff, because last episode there was a theory that Nick proposed with regards to Resident Evil 3. And, you know, you kind of want that. Have you seen the episode of Family Guy where he pulls the string and it says Peter was right? And, you know, and the dead clown and the balloons come out and the confetti.
Yeah. See, Project Resistance. It was RE3's multiplayer after all. Come on. No one was going to buy Project Resistance by itself.
True story.
That was never going to be a thing. It made sense.
It doesn't make any sense to keep it separate like that, especially since they know no one's gonna fucking buy it, right? They have to know no one's gonna fucking buy it.
Exactly.
Yep. And I think that's it. That's all there is to talk about. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us this episode. No, I'm kidding.
Good luck. We're sponsored by Square. No, we're not sponsored by anything remotely with Square in the name.
Yeah. But there was some big stuff. I mean, we just had the Game Awards. Should we cover the Game Awards?
Well,
I think we should start with let's start at the top of the Game Awards with the first thing that was revealed, right? Was the new box.
Fuck.
Series
that came out of nowhere.
X, which I keep saying is Serious X.
No, dude, it's the Xbox X. You get it right, okay? It's Series SEX, all right? That just it rolls off the tongue.
Xbox X.
A bunch of people.
First you get an X-Bone, and then you have Xbox
well,
X.
let's just talk about the looks of it, okay? So it's a tower. It's basically a fucking like mini ITX tower that you fucking buy at like Newegg, and honestly, it looks fucking sick. It reminds me of the Corsair 1 PC case. If anyone's seen that on like the tech reviewers or just online somewhere, oh my god, it's gorgeous.
Like, here's the thing, right? Back when Sony unveiled the PlayStation 2, there were very similar reactions to the PlayStation 2. I was old enough to remember. I was like 19, 20 when the PlayStation 2 was unveiled. And everyone looked at that DVD player and was like, what the fuck is that thing? But that design was ahead of its time. Like, that was... Like, Sony knew that eventually people weren't going to want their video game consoles to look like toys anymore. And they were going to want them to look like nice pieces of hi-fi equipment. This is Microsoft doing the same thing. Like, it's something different. Like... You know,
it's just not to go under the TV. That is to sit next to it like a PC tower, like an Alexa speaker, and be a fucking statement on your
That
entertainment
you have the most powerful fucking console on the market, and you better fucking show it off.
The original goal, the center of the living room, takes all the attention and it stands out. And you know, every generation we talk about how. Consoles can't keep up with PCs, and PC this and console that, and Microsoft was just like, fuck it. We'll just put it in a PC tower and, make it as powerful as a PC. Fuck it.
I wrote a short piece following that reveal on XboxEra.com, which, if you haven't visited, has had a facelift recently, and you probably should go and check it out. Show some love. But the other key thing here, so just before the Game Awards, so I think a week or so before, we had Windows Central, Tom Warren. There was the huge uproar. Lockhart is back in the mix, right? It's back. Yeah. It's a 4 teraflop box, and it's same architecture. Slightly lower clock speeds, slightly lower amount of RAM, but fundamentally it's like having, a GTX 970 that's capable of doing X at 1080p versus your big boy 2080 Ti being able to do 4K 60 whatever.
I think that generational leap though is a bit restrictive, I guess, because if it's not at least baseline to the X, the One X, then I feel like that's 4 teraflops ain't enough.
Well,
not that it's not enough for the games to be powered, but like at the same time,
but
it's either going to be it either should be $200 or it should be as powerful as the One X.
Well,
so remember,
power
it's got the newer CPU though.
Yeah, when I say new architecture, it's going to have all of the same elements that enable next generation games. Just the only difference really is just lower resolution. And I've seen the back and forth. Oh, devs will have to cater for it. It's going to hold the generation back. And it's like, games are built across a spectrum of devices. I know friends of mine that's still running like a GTX 970. That card is I don't know 8 years old or something to that effect.
We're no longer living in the world where consoles define how the generation looks, because PCs have been more powerful for ages now, and we've had amazing looking titles come out on the PC space that some of them barely ever hit console. It's just I think the disparity is too great, and it would have been, because we're expecting, not expecting, we can hope that the next that the Series X is going to come out with at least 12 teraflops, right? That's kind of general part.
That's what we're hearing.
Where we all think
it's
GCN
going. Or RDNA or
they already confirmed RDNA, so I was in the GameSpot article.
Oh, well then in that case it's only 8.65.
But what kind of flops are they? That's what matters here.
No one fucking
cares.
The
type of flops.
No one fucking cares. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, even if it's around, let's say 12 teraflops for the sake of it, and we have a similar console that's spec'd lower in the GPU to get it to an under $400 price. Let's say $300, right? Because the 360 launched at what, $299 and $399?
Yeah.
So around that ballpark is around there. So I still think it's a mistake to launch that thing at anything more than
$299,
200 to 250 with the power it has, because being less than the One X.
Right, but it's
not less than the One X.
It's not less than the One X.
It's not less than the One X.
It
is
in
GPU power. Let's talk specifically about the GPU.
Different technology,
different CPUs. Yes.
No. But different architecture.
I'm not asking.
But you're talking about the marketing problem, but not the reality. I just need to be clear here, because when you hear 4 teraflop, it's teraflops of this architecture, which is an improvement on, or at least an equivalent to the 6 teraflops of the old architecture.
No one gives a shit about the nuance.
That's why they're not saying the word teraflops. That's why you're hearing 2 times or 4 times, because the teraflop marketing war has to be brushed aside. They've played that card, and now it's just going to confuse consumers, right? The new architecture is what it is, and I think that's
in the end.
Don't
get Cairo. Ultimately, I'm in agreement with you. I still don't think Lockhart should exist. But having said that, just with Lockhart, it's literally going to be producing the exact same games Series X can. They're going to look the same, just at a lower resolution. That's it.
And I think that's like understandable. And then fucking like what is it? Subtract the difference, add the difference with like streaming or something like that.
But it can't be $1 over $299. It cannot be $1 over $299.
Seems like the baseline for that, because I don't think anyone's gonna fucking care if it's like if it's like $399.
Exactly, right? It
can't be $1 over.
PCs still have to cater for slower hard drives. They still have to cater for older graphics cards. Yeah, okay. There is maybe an argument to be made that a dedicated device like a PlayStation 5, if it isn't held back by a lower powered version of itself, could be pushed to do more. But that's, we just have to, that's not Microsoft's strategy. It just doesn't matter for them. It doesn't matter for 90% of the market. It only matters from a Sony first party perspective. That's it.
And the thing is too, it's all the first party stuff. Is like, none of the third-party devs care about maximizing, like, okay, well, they do want to maximize performance, but they're not going to fucking squeeze out as much performance as they can out of those boxes if they don't have to, And you've never seen that in any generation, where the third parties are just fucking milking this thing for every ounce it can get.
Yeah.
They're putting their games out there. They're optimizing as much as their budget allows, and then they're just fucking saying, whatever, right? It is what it is. The first parties are the ones that always squeeze the most out of the box. Always. And if first parties only have to support 2 consoles, everyone else fucking has to support 2 or more things anyway. So it's not that much of a fucking difference.
Yep.
How do we feel about the name though?
So this was I think I went on a tangent here. So this was the point, right? Is they are approaching this. First of all, I told you it wasn't going to be called Xbox 5, so I was right.
Yeah, no, fucking got that one wrong.
Right, but what they have effectively, and this is why I think the Lockhart rumours are absolutely true, in that there's going to be another device, is that by calling it Series X, they're approaching this as like, you know, a phone technology launch, like, you know, Galaxy 10, Galaxy 11,
or even a car,
like a Mercedes, you know, whatever. But you know, you're now going to get your Series S, or, you know, and I saw some wonderful mock-ups on Twitter for the, you know, Series C, cloud-powered, tiny little device, Series S, which was just half, and obviously white to show you the difference between the premium and the not so premium. I think from a business perspective, and I don't care so much about being held back or any of that sort of thing, because I don't think it's really ultimately going to matter until the tail end of the generation anyway. This is the moment where they are saying software and hardware is now iterative. You know, it's going to be
iterative.
That's the one. It's going to be. I'm too tired. I am too tired this morning. It's going to be, you know, similar to this gen where we had that mid-gen refresh with the Xbox One X. It's going to be slowly but surely, just like with iPhones. Oh, sorry, this game doesn't run on iPhone 5 anymore, and I'm talking years away, right? At some point, they'll just slowly go, you need to upgrade, boom, and they'll just keep rolling that out until they have to just phase them out. And that, I think this is going to be the future now, because it's all x86, it's all off-the-shelf components. There's no cell architecture or power PC architecture. This is just how it's going to be.
Look, in isolation, and I said this on Resetera, and I said this in the Discord.
Stop perpetuating that myth. It's Reset Era.
I actually like the name a lot. Like, again, much like the console design, much like the PS2's console design, I think it's a name that's a little bit ahead of its time. Like, but and it does. It represents what they're doing going forward. Like, you can totally see, you know, and the next console now in 6 years' time or 5 years' time or whatever the upgrade is, the mid-gen refresh will be the Series XR or Series
X1,
XT,
X3, whatever.
Or whatever. It's fine. It opens the door for them to do whatever the fuck they want. I do have to admit they are tiptoeing into Wii U territory. Like, just tiptoeing into it just a little bit.
I'd argue that the new Xbox is called an Xbox, and the Series X is the model number.
It's Xbox. Technically, the name of the new Xbox is Xbox. Technically.
I've read so many posts on Reset where people are going, little Jimmy's mom's going to walk into the store and she's going to go, I have the new, and then they're going to give her the old one. I'm sorry, like, this shit just doesn't happen. The reason the Wii U debacle happened is because people thought it was a controller for the Wii.
It was an add-on for the Wii.
It was an add-on. That's the difference.
I still think it's ill-advised to have an Xbox Series X and an Xbox One X on the market at the same time. I think once Xbox One is gone, we're golden.
Yeah.
But while Xbox One X exists and the Xbox Series X exists, there's potential for issues there. At least potential.
I can see that. Yeah. But the same thing is like... Same thing, whatever. It's very much a statement from Microsoft that going forward, they're not going to be doing this stupid shit of coming up with the dumbest names imaginable. Like the fucking Xbox
It's a little bit more grown up.
Because at least now, there's a definitive, okay, this is the Xbox. This is this is the series number. This is the series model, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yep.
Go buy the series edition you want. The X, the E, the S, whatever the fuck it's going to be called.
The D, the whatever.
You know,
I've got 26 letters in that alphabet.
The successor to that, maybe the extra to the Series X is going to be the Series X2. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it makes more sense because now it's just all Xbox because they're going for the platform model. They're not going for the static. This is one box, you know.
Can we can we talk a little bit? I know we kind of all just briefly touched on the design, but you know, I'm sure everyone that listens to this podcast and certainly us three have all seen the mostly amusing memes talking about the size of this thing. You know, this thing's a fridge.
It's not
that big, boys and girls.
Understand.
Okay, there's a pad right next to it. It's about 2.5 times the height of a pad.
Oh, don't get me wrong. At first glance, it does look huge. Like
I love
my
the
wife
memes.
happened.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, my wife happened to walk past and goes, "Oh, holy shit, that's big."
I want that next to my monitor here. I've got my Xbox One X vertically.
Yeah, at first glance,
honestly, like that's a desk console for me.
Oh, it's so good. I can't.
Oh, look, lying down flat, it'll still fit in my unit, so I got no issues there. I'll just lie down. I don't give a shit. But it's not like in terms of volume. I'm pretty sure it's about the same as a PS4 Pro, Xbox One X in just total volume. Like it's not that big, at all.
Yeah.
I think when people see it live, they will realize that it's... And remember, you're talking about new hardware too.
Yeah.
Which generally is far, far bigger. Like,
look at the original Xbox One.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if they had some fears of a Red Ring of Death scenario. Make this thing huge.
When they do a revision of this thing, it's actually going to get even smaller.
Yeah.
They're going to shrink that down. Like, I don't know.
I think I love the design. I love the...
Yeah, so do I. It's great.
And I'm trying to remember, is it concave or convex?
Concave.
Just the concave grill on the top where that big fan's going to be pushing out.
Well, there was someone in the Discord, and God, I'm devastated. I can't remember their name. I like that there's a design cue from every generation of Xbox in it. So there's the green at the top from the original Xbox, which has the green logo at the top. You've got the inhaled design of the 360 in that concave top grill part. You've got, obviously, the obvious cue to the One X from the Xbox One generation and the white logo and all that sort of stuff. So you've got a design cue from each generation there. I reckon that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the only thing I think, you know, and I think I saw this being discussed on the Discord from an engineering perspective, is... You know, for me, it doesn't bother me. I'm keeping this thing vertically, and it's standing proud on my desk. But for those that are going to go horizontal, Microsoft, you need to figure a way to spin that logo around.
They've got to rotate
I don't care
that
if there's a
logo.
little screw or you can pop it off and just replace it back in the right way around. You got to fucking
so
sort that shit, because if
I
I have
lying down,
if I have like anyone else in the world, it's going to trigger. Like, just spin it round a bit.
Find a way. I mean, Sony's, to be fair, the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 allowed you to rotate the logo, but that was nothing more than an ornament. It was a badge.
This is
the power button, so it does change the discussion slightly, but there's got to be a way. Panos is smart. There's got to be a way to do it.
So,
just have it rotate.
I mean, even the power button on the 360 rotated depending on the orientation, right?
Yeah.
It did.
Because it used to light up for how many pads you had.
For the original box.
Really?
For the original box, yeah.
Dead set. Okay,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
It did rotate. I remember that explicitly.
There's got to be a way to do it.
The other thing that I had a moment when I first saw it, because it does evoke memories of a first gen Alexa. I don't know if any of you have owned one of those, but just in terms of the black and the speaker at the top, I first saw that grill, and obviously, you know, that is a vent for air, but the first thought, especially when the light came on, right? And this is still in the back of my mind. Part of me thinks that there is some form of smart assistant in there.
Well, I mean,
and it worries me a little, because we remember the Kinect debacle at the beginning of the Xbox One generation with the whole, and I think it dropped at the same time as the whole NSA are listening to us and Microsoft are helping them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One, I kind of like the idea that I could walk into a room and say Xbox on still. I haven't done that since 2014, by the way, but I'm not adverse to it, but I just worry if that is a thing. I hope it's not. I hope it's just a nice subtle green glow when it's on, and that's it.
Let's be real here. Alexa and Google Assistant already work on the Xbox One, so it's not that much of a fucking stretch. Yeah, Cortana's dead.
They're not using Cortana, so
that's why I'm saying Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. Yeah, they're compatible with the box. So does it really fucking matter if it's more voice assistant like? I mean, who cares? Because it's not proprietary tech anymore. They're using what everyone already has. So
yeah, I mean, if it's Google Assistant, it would just fit right into my home because I use Google Home. And it's interesting. Obviously, we've seen the patents out there for was it PlayStation Assistant? So perhaps this is both giants are just ticking that box from a usability perspective. I don't know. I just saw the green glow and it struck me as very similar to my Google. When I say, "Hey Google," the 4 lights come up on the top to show that it's listening. Is that going to be a thing, or is it just decorative? And I'm on. Here's a green breathing glow. Look how fancy I am. We'll find out. Yeah. We'll find out in a year. It excites me that in a year we're going to be playing games on this machine. One thing before we move on to games on this machine, because obviously the next thing we want to discuss is what came after that hardware reveal.
Oh, I've got more on the box. Don't worry about
that. Okay. Well, then we'll carry plowing on through. But I just wanted to quickly mention, if you haven't noticed, and I know you guys have, but listeners, if you haven't noticed, the pad, despite being very similar to the current Xbox pad, it's got some really nice subtle changes. We've got textured triggers. Smaller. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit flatter. They've brought over the kind of rolling D-pad.
The dish.
The dish, that's a good phrase. And I've noticed as well from a pad perspective, this button here on the Elite is to switch profiles. Now I'm wondering when this gets an update for next year, because this is in the same place as the share button, are we going to have a long press to do the same thing as like a little update?
Well, okay, so I don't know if you've tested it or not. Now, for those of you that do have or had the version 1 Elite, there was a firmware update to the first Elite where if you double tap the sync button, it would disable the paddles.
Yeah.
So you weren't accidentally pushing them. That doesn't exist on the version 2. I tested it. So there'll be a future firmware update potentially where maybe the sync button becomes a screenshot button or something like that, or it
was more that I noticed it was in the same location as the new pad.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe they'll just say, "Hey, for Elite 2 users, if you want to take a screenshot, just long press rather than flick between the profiles, and it would just work." I'd be like, "Yeah, all right."
But they might not, because at the moment you can just set the paddles to be screenshot buttons underneath.
Winning at life.
So
either way,
I'm not sure.
I don't give a shit enough about screenshotting to fucking replace my paddles for actual useful functionality.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I do think it's awesome though that the new controller works on Xbox One as well as Xbox One controllers working.
I'm glad everything on Xbox One works with an Xbox. Honestly, that's great.
But even for those that don't want to upgrade yet, they can still buy the new controller, get the share functionality, get all that stuff, but have it on Xbox One.
You know what I fucking want? If they're doing all this like forward compatibility crap, I want 360 to be compatible with all the 360
360 pad.
No, not just the
accessories.
Pad.
The guitars,
not just the pad, the accessories, the guitars, the fucking wireless steering wheel. That thing was so good, and they never made another one.
I think
got mine.
They've been a little bit more focused this gen on how they do stuff from the beginning.
That's the official 360 one. That one.
No, not that
It's got force feedback.
The one that bolts to the desk. It was wireless force feedback.
Yeah.
No, the one that was like it was full wireless. It was literally just a U-shaped plastic thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about now. I know the one that was the one that released later.
Yeah, that one is
the original
awesome.
one.
Yeah, but if they can make 360 accessories compatible for at least 360 games, I would be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
Be great.
I think though, for the majority of games that have accessories like that, they're probably stuck in licensing hell. I'm just being real with you.
Well, the thing is, they don't need licensing if it's attaching over the Xbox wireless protocol.
Correct.
No, I mean the games that would support those accessories like Guitar Heroes are probably stuck in licensing.
Yeah. yeah, the games might not come over, but at least like even the steering wheels were compatible with a lot of games that we can still play on the Xbox One, but we can't use the actual peripherals that we bought for those games, you know?
Yeah.
Like my dad fucking loves the Forza games, but he hates hates driving with the gamepad. He wants the fucking steering wheel, you know?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm glad they not only did they take the dish D-pad from the Elite, and apparently the foundation of that D-pad is the Elite's.
Nice.
They also took the textured triggers from the Elite version 2.
Yeah.
They tweaked the bumpers. They shrunk the size of it a little bit. Yeah, it does look...
I think it's meant to fit from 95% of hands to 98% of hands.
Yeah.
Which is
a little bit smaller.
It's a decent uptick.
And I reckon the way they've designed both the box and the controller, limited edition versions will look fucking awesome.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, and you know, I think I said this again on the last podcast. You know,
the Halo one.
I have heard that there is going to be some form of hardware, custom edition for the release of Halo. So,
yeah,
I'm going to suck that right up because on that tower. And I hope it's really subtle. Like, I don't want to see it plastered and being garish or anything like that. I want really subtle elements that just
like the Reach one.
Yeah,
like the Reach
very
one, the
similar
360.
to the Reach one. But either way,
like you know, like imagine if they did it. So you've got the box. They maybe give it more of a steel grey color instead of the black. Then the light at the top might be blue instead of green. Just little,
or a Gears of War edition where the light is red instead of green, and it's got fucking like
but
monster
a Gears of War
all
edition
over the box.
Well, yeah, a Gears of War edition, there'd be scratches all over it, and fucking the box would be destroyed.
It's gonna be. We're in for a real treat. I think, you know, and let's talk about the next element here, and that was the reveal of Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
That trailer,
a game that didn't need a sequel.
Game that arguably didn't need a sequel.
It's a good game, though. Have you played it?
Oh, I've played it. No, I agree. It's a great game. It just doesn't need a sequel. It was very definitive in the way it ended. It was very, this is the ending of the game. Like, done.
Yeah.
It didn't need a sequel, and I honestly don't think they should have gone for a sequel. They probably should have gone for a new IP. But
but after that trailer,
we have it now.
Are you complaining when you see the quality of that trailer? It looks great.
I mean, quality aside, like it doesn't matter really. Like Senua's Sacrifice was fucking beautiful, but I mean, it was a great game, but it ended.
Well,
you know.
Now the story continues,
but in terms of the visuals though, like I saw a lot of people.
It's a CG
going
trailer.
Crazy over how it's a CG trailer. I know they say in-engine, but let's be honest, in-engine is the new CG. Like, let's just hold our horses a little bit on how that looked, because we all remember when they showed that initial in-engine trailer of Uncharted 4, and it was 1080-60, and Drake was his face down in the water, and the fly was on his head, and it looked unbelievable. The game looked nothing like that, and it certainly wasn't 60 frames.
Yeah, and again, similarly, the Halo Infinite reveal trailer, that was an in-engine trailer. All right, I'm sure it's putting the point across about this is what it's capable of, but games and what engines are capable of are different things. All right, because as soon as you put a player input in, shit's changing.
Shit's changing.
But regardless, I think that the statement that they had was there. You know, and as a trailer, as a piece that was saying this is a thing that's coming. I thought it was one of the best trailers that's been released from the Xbox team in years.
It was the best trailer to lead the Xbox One, Xbox Series X on.
It was the
best
statement
one because it wasn't Halo, it wasn't Gears, it wasn't Forza, and it was fucking beautiful and breathtaking and just exhilarating.
The music, everything about that trailer. Whoever put that together,
it was different.
They did a fucking good job.
And it was for just to shut the fucking Sony guys up. It was a single player game that they featured. A single player game.
And I'm sure it's going to be over the shoulder and everything. Yeah. Just the way they all love it.
Who was it? I can't remember who it was, but massive shout out. I think it was
for Ninja Theory.
I think it was Theory Theory.
Yep.
I don't know. On
Theory,
Reset Era, he put a hilarious statement of like, I like to play Forza Horizon 4 in third person because that's the only way I can enjoy it, or something like that.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
I thought was an amusing nod to the
But
third person.
something that I think not enough people are, not that they're not addressing it, but although there has been some concern trolling over it, is I like the fact that Microsoft finally moved away from, well, we have to announce this at E3.
Yeah.
Like, we have to save everything for E3. We can't announce a console anywhere else but
I
E3.
think arguably
and we
the
can't.
content and the pipeline they have now is changing that conversation, right? And we're seeing that.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, 100%. Like they know what's coming. They know, like, their portfolio is stacked for the next year, and all hope for it. It's just stacked for years to come, you know. So I think they're
great.
ready.
Like,
I think they're
like
ready.
have a look now. Like, you know, everyone, that Game Awards show, everyone was talking about the Series X. I don't even know who fucking won. I found out later it was Sekiro. I didn't even know. Yeah, I found that out later. I didn't even realize. Everyone was talking about fucking the Series X. Like, that's what they need. They need, you know, they need to find ways to keep Xbox there in the conversation, which is what Sony and Nintendo are great at, because Nintendo has a direct every couple of months or so, and Sony will just drop something here, drop something there.
I could just imagine Keighley like fucking being ecstatic when Phil Spencer calls him up and says, "Hey, we'd like to announce the new box at the Game Awards." And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you kidding?
Jeff, he would have shit a chicken. Like, Jeff would have just absolutely.
That's the best mental image.
He would have absolutely shit a chicken when Phil said to him, "Can we unveil the new Xbox at the Game Awards?" Like, yeah, fuck.
Because
I
top it all off.
the trailer for
it's
the,
never been
top
done
it all
before,
off.
You know.
Death Stranding didn't win, which is great.
Yeah.
Of course, you think it's great.
Although, where was Crackdown 3's nomination,
guys?
guys? Because I was sitting there with my Crackdown 3 on my bingo card, and it just didn't come up. I love the trailer as well.
Crackdown 3 dream die, John. Just let the Crackdown 3
It's
dream
not a
die.
dream; it's a nightmare. The trailer for the actual Series X reveal as well, using, I can't remember the philosopher's name.
It was
Alan.
That trailer was more of what I felt like that trailer was more of what they needed, because like we saw a similar like style to the trailer in terms of like just releasing it and just not saying anything, right? When Halo Infinite was first announced, and the fucking hype that surrounded that trailer after like the moment the camera zooms out and you see Chief's helmet, right? Literally the entire fucking stadium just screamed. I thought the fucking roof was gonna come down, you know?
It was great.
It was insane. And
I loved the reaction videos, because people, when that trailer dropped, they were like, "What is this? Animals?
What is this?
A fire?
Yeah.
Runes? Is this some new game? Is this Tomb Raider?" You know, people just did not know.
I heard
until
people
the
say,
Marines
"Is this
appeared.
the new Fable?" And then when fucking Master Chief's helmet's revealed, they're all like, "Oh my god!"
Well, it was it's funny, when I was watching the Series X trailer, when they had the lights, like almost like those fireflies or whatever. My first thought, I thought it was going to be a Last of Us 2 trailer. That was the first thing I said. I honestly thought it was for the Last of Us 2. And then it kept going on, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And
then you see the car, and then you're like,
and I'm like, what?
And then the Chief
appears.
appears.
Cuts to FIFA, and then you're just like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck
and then
is
Master
this?
Chief, and then you're like, oh.
But then when you saw the monolith at first, like when it was transparent and you could see all the games within it, even then I'm just like, what is this a trailer for? And then it just becomes the black box, and you're like, what the fuck? Is that seriously what they're doing right now? Oh man,
it's trailers like that is that Xbox needs to do more of.
It sounds like
trailer. They don't explain
they're updating their
anything.
whole marketing.
They fucking
team.
like just throw something at us.
I have to
tell
say
us
though,
what it is. Let us figure it out, and just
I am gonna miss Jump In. I hate Power Your Dreams.
You hate it?
That's strong. I hate Power Your Dreams. Power Your Dreams is dumb. Like,
that'll only be the launch console. Moniker.
It's not powering our dreams. It is a video game console where jump in was cool. It was like, hey man, check out all this shit. Jump in. Like, I love
marketing strategies like that rarely ever make sense. I mean, Gillette's fucking marketing slogan for a while was "free your skin," and I don't think anyone wants to free their skin.
I'd rather stay remain.
I don't know. I just
attached
to me,
to my
Power
body.
Your Dreams. When I think Power Your Dreams with a games console, to me that's an ad they'd have at GDC for developers. Yeah. Hey, whatever you guys dream to make, this box can power it. Like to me, that's a developer message, not a consumer message. Maybe this
was both. Maybe this was a consumer message and a developer message. Because we've heard the rumors of the dev kits not even being released to as many people as possible yet.
They're so far behind.
Like, and it's probably because they were just fucking waiting for the moment where they can just fucking drop bombs on the stage and let Sony fucking come in with the mob.
Do you know what would really tickle me? All right, and I don't normally prescribe to the fanboy console wars nonsense, right? But just imagine a world where Lockhart isn't 4 teraflop, but it's just equivalent to the PS5, and the Series X is that 4 teraflops more monster. Wouldn't that be amusing? Wouldn't you be amused?
I had talked about that in
the narrative online would be funny as fuck.
Then literally Sony would be done. There's just no way.
Yeah, I know I talked about that in the Discord ages and ages ago, like last year, saying that, if Lockhart, and this was back, actually, no, I'm not allowed to say that, but at first, we had spoken about the fact that if Lockhart can be just close enough to the PS5,
just do everything it can do at 1080p.
Yeah, and just be a little bit cheaper, and then you've got Series X, which is like the fucking monster. That might be a good strategy, but it's not. It's not looking that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we had even said again. We had speculated maybe what if Lockhart isn't a console? I mean, it looks like it's going to be, but what if Lockhart
is a streaming stick?
No. What if Lockhart is the hardware for the xCloud servers? What if that's what they're running?
Yeah, because they don't need to stream. They don't need to stream games to phones and tablets at 4K.
Because then you're still getting the same games, streaming them at 1080 60, and it's much cheaper hardware to run your streaming service on.
Sure, but then you lose out. You still have to fucking put in Anaconda server blades to get the 4K.
Why?
But no, they just say that for streaming they won't offer 4K.
That's if you're planning on streaming at 4K. What if they don't?
Yeah, and Google Stadia supports 4K streaming. xCloud is probably going to support 4K streaming.
Google Stadia barely supports fucking Atari level streaming. Like, let's just calm down on that shit. Google Stadia is fucking garbage and will remain so for quite some time. Like, by the time Google gets their shit together, Sony and Microsoft will have already fucking put them in the ground. So I don't think that's really going to matter.
Yeah. I think that covers our Stadia LOL segment.
If they can get 1080 60 going with some consistency that doesn't absolutely fucking demolish people's data caps on their phones and stuff, like
when they fucking revealed that fucking what was it, the minimum recommendations was like, 1 hour of 4K 60 streaming is going to cost you around like 100 gigabytes of data, and everyone was just like, what?
This is what I'm saying. Like the bandwidth that 4K 60 streaming is going to will require basically home internet. And if you're going to be using Google Stadia at home, just grab a fucking console, man. Like, why would the whole point of this stuff is to do it on the go. No one is going to stream 4K 60 on one of these. That's just not going to happen. So it seems a little bit pointless. Like, it's going to cost a lot of money to get a bunch of Series X blades in their servers, where Lockhart bridges that gap if Lockhart was their streaming
I don't think
hardware.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. If that's
do we
if
need
that's
4K 60 streaming,
especially if they're wanting to branch into new markets, like India or where else did they announce it? Korea. Are people really gonna give a fuck about whether it's a 4K feed on their phone or not. There's a point of diminishing returns, right?
That's right. And you've got to think about people's data on their phones. They don't have much. I've got 60, and that's a lot.
Feed is good enough. Hell, at the moment, my experience of xCloud playing on a tablet and playing on a phone, I think it's capped at the moment to 720p, and it's good enough, right?
Yeah. And think about it again. Put the long-term cap on. They put Lockhart. Let's say Lockhart turns out to be the xCloud Blades, and it's not a dedicated console. It's the xCloud Blades. When the upgrade comes, when the XS or the XT or the XR or whatever the next Series X is in about 3 to 4 years' time, by that time, the hardware, the innards of the Series X may be down to Lockhart levels of cost of production. So maybe then they replace the Lockhart's blades with Series X blades because they'll be far cheaper. And all of a sudden they say, hey, guess what? Now xCloud supports 4K 60 streaming. Yeah. Many years down the track.
Yeah.
It's all possible right now. It feels good. It feels like a really great end of the year if you're an Xbox fan in general. And I was genuinely surprised and pleased to see that announced. And I was at my work's Christmas do when all this was kicking off. I just sort of woke up to a million messages and kind of scrolled through everything. Yeah, this is a future that, even though I've got a really decent PC, I'm going to get this console because, and equally I'm having that conversation with friends anecdotally in that, this isn't going to be just, you can just stick to PC. There's going to be reasons to have this console because it's going to be able to do things that right now, unless you're spending loads of money, your PC won't do.
It's funny you say that. The first thing my brother said to me, so my brother invested a lot of money in a desktop, in like a gaming rig.
Yeah.
And one of the first things he said to me was, man, Microsoft needs to make sure this thing can run Windows because then you don't need a fucking gaming PC anymore. Yeah. You just use this thing and that's it.
I doubt someone might mod the fuck.
Oh, it's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. I'm just saying, that's the first thing he said. He's like, man, I hope this thing can run Windows.
But yeah, no, it was good. And I'll tell you what else was interesting that happened this week. Baseball. Interesting announcement out of the Sony camp. In that MLB The Show, arguably the premier, I think it's the only worthwhile baseball game, is now going multi-platform.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's a Sony decision,
Minecraft.
Or is it going to be a licensing thing where the baseball guys are like, no, come on, you have to release
MLB 100% took their arm and put it behind their back and said, if you want to keep this license and you want to keep making this game, you're going to put it on everything. Yeah, 100%.
And
that wasn't a Sony call. No.
Here's an interesting question. When it comes to development for things like MLB The Show and for Minecraft, right? Obviously, the Minecraft Mojang team are looking at the next generations of consoles. They're going to have access to the Series X as they're a first-party developer. But if Sony want the Minecraft version for PS5, and I'm not saying that there's going to be a version, but one that takes the existing purchases but has ray tracing, blah 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 blah. Microsoft might be planning for that to drop first 3 months of the console's life. So, do they get access to Sony development kits?
They would. They might already.
But then you see this rhetoric online, though. You see this rhetoric online of, they're keeping their cards close to their chest. Microsoft don't know what Sony are doing. Sony don't know what Microsoft are doing. I'm like,
well,
people talk. People are human. Of course they all know what each other's are doing.
Yeah, but, I think it's pretty clear already that Jim Ryan is more of a business-focused gaming CEO as opposed to
creative
fanning the flames
focus
of the console wars and...
Yeah.
He's cleared out a lot of that old guard that just used to partake in that shit. He's cleared a lot of them out or demoted them. there's reasons for that. Like, Minecraft is still one of the best-selling games on PS4. I'd wager they're going to want it there ready to go for PS5 as well, which means Mojang will need access to that kit if they don't already. Yeah, and while we're talking about that, I think you were about to say it then, weren't you? I think while we're talking about Minecraft on PS4, someone just allowed Xbox Live login too.
Actually, I was going to say, like...
Crossplay. The Bedrock edition.
You also have to realize that Mojang is largely an independent studio within Microsoft. Like when Minecraft was bought and the studio was bought along with it, it was explicitly not under, well, if I remember right, it wasn't under gaming initially. It was under its own thing. It was, that's right. We own you, but you guys are working on your own thing, just developing Minecraft. That's all you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And so it feels, while it's under the Xbox Studios umbrella now, Mojang is still very much not on the list of studios that they have. It's Minecraft, you know?
Yeah, I know, which I find...
it was. They've changed that. They've updated that to actually say Mojang now.
Oh, is it Mojang now? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, that statement still applies here. Even if like they're technically under the Xbox Studios banner now, I'm 100% sure they still treat Mojang as its own separate entity that just does whatever it needs to do to make Minecraft great.
Yeah,
that's it.
Probably. And Minecraft Dungeons is coming cross-platform as well, isn't it? Cross-play and all that jazz.
So as long as it's in the service of making Minecraft the best Minecraft it could possibly be, I don't think Microsoft gives a shit. What they want.
Yeah. I think
they're just gonna have to get it.
I think that Minecraft Dungeons probably played a hand in updating the original Minecraft to Bedrock Edition on PlayStation, because from their perspective, this isn't the old game. Like, but if you want this new game, which will sell gangbusters for Minecraft fans, you're gonna fucking let us do it. We're gonna have our cross-platform initiative. So get on board, or we won't release to your platform.
Here's a question, though, while we're talking about this. Now, full disclosure, I've never played MLB The Show. I don't give a shit about baseball. Yeah. But MLB is going to come to Switch, Xbox, PC, Ouya, if you believe Twitter. The Ouya Twitter account made a little joke about it coming to Ouya.
The Ouya Twitter account is still active.
Will Sony use that as a way to flip the script a little bit and say, well, okay, we're going to have crossplay in MLB The Show. You've just got to sign into your PlayStation account.
Is the MLB The Show devs, and excuse my ignorance here, I don't follow them or
they're
baseball.
They're a first-party dev.
They are a first-party owned by Sony.
Yeah. They're a first-party Sony
Maybe
dev.
they will.
So
they're actually, it's Sony San Diego that does those titles. So
okay.
So
Yay,
do we think?
Home city.
So do we think that Sony will go, well, okay, you know, we're gonna you want to sign into Xbox Live for Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons? You got to sign into PlayStation Network for MLB The Show.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they will.
That makes sense. But at the same
Get
time,
trophies on Xbox.
They might not even try and go for it, because
they're fucking useless when it comes to online shit.
Well, that's part of it. Also, because this would be literally their only crossplay title. So, do I think they'd bother with it? Maybe. I mean, I can't say they won't, but
it's interesting.
They might not give enough of a shit.
They've got a couple of years to figure, or a year and a half to figure it out. So I think
because
MLB usually releases around April each year.
I think so.
So if it's 2021,
at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, if it's 2021, we've got just under a year and a half.
Yeah,
before it
comes out. It's funny too, because MLB was trying to do their own thing, because Sony was always doing MLB The Show exclusive, and MLB was trying to do their own thing with their own internal studio making RBI baseball.
Yeah.
And that was going mediocre, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought RBI 18 and it was okay. It was still not like a baseball game that I play with my brother, because he bought a PS4 almost exclusively uses it for the MLB games.
MLB.
So at this point, it's like, why even fucking have a PS4? You know? And honestly, this is a decision MLB should have fucking come to a long fucking time ago. But I think it was the push for crossplay and the push for getting it on everything available that finally made MLB say, we're wasting money making this game when we already have a competent developer in Sony San Diego doing this shit. Right? Yeah. Why can't we just say, if you want to keep doing this shit and making the gangbusters this makes every fucking year, then you're gonna do it our way. Yeah, because it's our fucking license. You know,
this was 100% an MLB decision. Sony wouldn't have just done this out of the kindness of their heart.
Sony would have said, "Fuck no." Sony would have said, "Hell no, it's staying on fucking PlayStation because there are people who only buy a PS4 for MLB The Show."
That's right. And there are. That is a known fact. Like Ryan McCaffrey from IGN says it. He's like, I bought a PS4 just to play MLB each year. Like, that's basically it.
And if he doesn't have to do it, then he wasn't going to.
Well, here's the thing.
That's right.
So, MLB The Show's coming, but there's another rumor out there about another Sony first-party game, Horizon Zero Dawn, coming to PC. Do I believe that that's going to happen? Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Just the 4chan rumor did say it was going to be announced at the Game Awards, though,
and it didn't get announced.
And I definitely blew my load on that one. I was like, "Yep, this is happening," and just started.
Well, it seems to be in the long trend of Sony like skipping out on doing anything this year. So, who knows?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's coming. Like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
It still baffles me that they decided
maybe Spider-Man can come out and grab it on PC. That'd be fine by me.
Yeah, but I think I think according to the rumor or the chatter about it, it's to do with the Decima engine. So because Decima is there with Death Stranding on PC, it's pretty easy to just port Horizon, which would theoretically mean that the greatest PS4 game, Killzone Shadowfall, could also come out on PC.
I've never heard you talk about Killzone Shadowfall before. It's news to me. What game is that?
Yeah, I might double dip on that one if it comes out on PC.
Go for that platinum again.
Yeah, go for the platinum twice. But I think were this to extend to the God of Wars, the Uncharted, and all that sort of stuff, it would take a lot longer because they're all running on proprietary engines. Yeah. Days Gone could be really quick because it's Unreal Engine. But I think that's how the rumor started with Horizon.
Just keep it the Decima engine. Just fucking keep it exclusive. I don't give a shit about Days Gone, and I don't think most people do.
Did you guys see some of the Twitter console warriors screaming about MLB going multi-platform? Did you see some of the Twitter?
Oh, there was some unbelievable
some
stuff.
Great salt.
I mean, there was some salt there on Resetera as well. Don't worry about that. Like posts like "This is awful news" and all this shit. I'm like,
what world are people living in? Oh no, more people can play a game.
I know. I don't understand the logic. I don't understand that logic. Like, more people get to play an awesome or allegedly awesome baseball game. I don't give a shit enough about baseball.
Yeah, I'll never buy it. I'm just saying.
Like, more people will get to play an allegedly great baseball game. I'm not understanding the issue. Like, I think where this whole fear from these fanboys comes from is they have this idea that there's this mass of people, millions upon millions of people that are just champing at the bit to spend thousands of dollars on a gaming PC so they don't have to buy a console. Newsflash,
they don't exist.
That's not the case. Like, I can get every Xbox game on a PC and I don't want to fucking touch a PC. I don't give a shit. If all those PS4 games come to PC, I'm still not going to get a PC. I am going to continue to buy 3 consoles. Nintendo, Sony, Xbox. I don't give a shit about PC gaming.
Stadia.
And guess what? The hardcore PC gamers are the minority. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Those guys that go out and spend thousands of dollars putting together a PC capable of 4K 120, 4K 144, and all, they represent the vast minority.
Yeah.
There is not this, like, there aren't all these people just hanging to not buy consoles to put together gaming PCs.
Yeah.
It's okay. If all these Sony exclusives come to PC, it's okay. The next PlayStation will still sell millions and millions of units and make you all very happy.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And just going quickly back to that whole Lockhart or Series S, whatever it's going to be. When I was thinking ahead to next year at launch, I'm not adverse to if both consoles launch simultaneously and it is a hardware piece, that I would buy the Series X for the man cave for my 4K gaming, and I would buy the Series S and stick it in my lounge as a replacement to my Xbox One S. Exactly the same setup as I've got now, so that I can game in either location. Totally see that happening. Totally see that being a thing.
Well, I mean, I've said that I would almost be tempted to just get the Lockhart and stick with my 1080 plasma.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to move to a 4K TV yet.
I'd love it.
I mean, you can get a 4K TV for cheap though, like super
no, I know.
fucking cheap.
I understand that. That's not the
picture
issue. The
quality
money.
is
I
really
mean, you
good
know
stuff.
me, Jesus. You understand. I throw money away all the time on stupid shit. The money's not the issue. For me, the issue is I have too many old consoles that aren't even capable of 1080 still set up, and they are all going. They are all going to look like shit on a 4K TV. Whereas, if I stick to my 1080 plasma, not only do I still get a TV with some of the best input latency going around, I get all my games at 60. They'll all be beautiful, clean 1080 60. Every single game that I get on this new box.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have a lot. For me, I have a lot of incentive to just stick to 1080.
I still really hope, and it's not going to happen, but I still hope that the Series X will support my 32:9 monitor. Because I love gaming at 4K on this screen above me, but Halo Reach, when it dropped, it was really fun to play through that in 32:9 at 144 frames per second, mostly. It was really great. It was really great, and I suppose that's a good segue. Halo Reach dropped on PC. I think they had something over 2 or 3 million players.
Yeah, within a few days.
Halo's dead.
Yeah, not quite.
Arguably, if one of the worst mainline releases is getting that much attention.
Every franchise in existence, every major franchise is irrelevant while they're releasing bad games. All true. Halo needs is a good game. If Infinite is good, Halo will be as big as it's ever been.
Infinite's going to be good,
especially with the PC release.
Yeah, and that's I can't wait to play that game. There's no point me wasting more time on the podcast talking about how incredibly hyped I am to play Halo Infinite. I obviously lost my dream that Halo Infinite Beta would be announced at the Game Awards.
Yep, that's not happening.
I hoped, I lost, but there we go.
We still need to get one. We still need one though.
Yeah, maybe January, February. What else? So do you remember 2018, 2019 was all Battle Royale games? Forza Horizon 4's one now with the Eliminator.
Just out of nowhere.
Hey guys, we've been fucking about in the studio. Here's a Battle Royale game. I haven't played it yet. Have you guys had a go on it yet?
Neither have I. No, not yet.
I really want to. I saw the trailer. I was like, yeah, all right. Sounds like a laugh.
That's pretty funny.
It's just
Forza Horizon.
What a game that keeps on giving.
It's good, isn't it?
Mad props to that dev team. Absolutely.
The Horizon team, anyway.
Yeah. Yep. We don't know what the RPG team.
We know they have another one.
They're doing stuff. But, I mean, this bodes well, right? People are saying, we're not going to see Fable till 2021, but we've seen Everwild now, and that's a couple of years out. We are going to see Fable.
Is it?
Everwild?
I have a funny feeling Everwild might be sooner than you think.
I don't know.
I'll save that for another episode.
Interesting. Little nuggets being dropped here.
Just got a funny feeling Everwild might be sooner than you think.
But
we'll talk about that another
time. What else?
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4. What about Streets of Rage 4? Tell me about Streets of Rage 4.
Adam was revealed. Who was in the first game. And according to the new law, Cherry's uncle, I think, the new character Cherry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's in Streets of Rage 4. I believe that's Adam's niece. I'd need to look it up to be 100% sure, but I believe that's.
I am not au fait with my Streets of Rage canon.
Yep, and he looks great. And the game we now have a release window, quote unquote, first half of 2020.
And it's coming to Game Pass, right?
Straight into Game Pass.
Boom.
So it's not something I need to worry about.
Nice.
But I may double dip on Switch, so I have it on the go.
Yep.
But yeah, Streets of Rage continues to look awesome.
Speaking of Streets of Rage, a slight tangent, but I think it's on our list of things to talk about anyway. I did tag you in the Discord, but it probably was like 3 a.m. Australia time, so you may have just scrolled right on past it. I picked up a game on Oculus Quest yesterday,
that
which is
brawler thing
by Twisted Pixel, and it starts off with your classic Streets of Rage viewpoint, and then like in the street, she gets the Oculus on her head, and then she's like, and just punching people.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
It's really good fun. And
it looks cool. Did you play? Oh, have you played it?
Yeah, I bought it. But it's only a tenner.
Oh wow!
And yes, it's.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's genuinely good fun. Twisted Pixel, obviously, it's just an Xbox first party dev.
Studio.
I've always enjoyed most of their games. They've always had a really good kind of sense of humour to them. Obviously, my favourite being Explosion Man and Miss Explosion Man, I think. But I played the more Comic Book Jumper, and even was it Loco Cycle was Twisted Pixel? I can't remember, but yeah, Loco Cycle. But the rest, most amusing, and this is pretty good, and not only that, but Beat Saber got 360-degree levels, and Cairo, if you have not played these yet, holy shit! So traditionally, Beat Saber.
I played it earlier today.
You're playing and you stand still, and it just comes at you and you cut stuff. But now they spin around you, so you have to kind of turn. And and it's nuts. But even more nuts was they also released the hand tracking beta into Oculus Quest, and I've got to say, very rarely in technology you get those kind of little magical moments where you think, wow, and boom, I flicked the switch and I brought my hands up, and they were instant. Boom, there, I can see all the digits, like my ghost hands.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like Minority Report, so I'm like selecting stuff by doing that and scrolling menus by just pinching. Early days, but what an amazing achievement. This is a mobile chipset, a Snapdragon 835 built into a headset. It was really cool. And I have no idea if game's going to take advantage of it, but very, very nifty.
I have a question then. Please excuse my ignorance, because you guys know that I don't give a shit about VR, but
until you buy your Quest.
Does the Oculus Quest support the controllers?
Yes.
So that fighting game you were playing,
I was holding the
punching
controllers
with those.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting that feedback. Haptic feedback when you punch everyone in the face and stuff.
Absolutely. And it's really good fun. And I had my Christmas do on the night of the Game Awards, and my MD was like, we did it kind of in office. We had like a bunch of different games and stuff set up and caterers, and we had like a Scalextrics room and a silent disco, and my boss, who bought a Quest after trying mine, we were like, let's bring both the Quests in, we'll do some multiplayer and stuff, and the company paid for a couple of multiplayer games for both of us, which I was like, 3 games, fine. And so many people tried it and were just like, because these people, if they're not gamers, then, they're my colleagues and friends that I work with. But, I hear all the VR, like, until you try it, and I'm just waiting. Episode 13, when we do episode 13, I want you to come on and be like, I got a Quest for Christmas. And then we can talk about it. It's gonna be fun.
What? You know how you'll know when I got a Quest? So what'll happen is, on that episode, the camera will come on and you'll see me wearing the Quest. I'll be there.
I'm looking forward to that day. It's the hand tracking stuff, and I love that, because sometimes if the wife is watching EastEnders or stuff, I have been known to watch film or TV in the headset, like I'm in a personal movie theater, and lay down in bed and just look up and you can see it all. And sometimes the pads, you've got the Guardian system. The fact that I could just reach out my hand and control applications is it's going to be a godsend. So I absolutely love it. What a clever piece of technology that is.
That's cool.
But yeah, looking forward.
Speaking of betas, though, other betas came out too.
I haven't tried it yet, but I have downloaded it.
GOG Galaxy 2.0. I recently got rid of my gaming PC, so I couldn't try it there, but it does have a Mac version. So I downloaded it on Mac, and man, that shit is awesome. GOG Galaxy 2.0 is an attempt at, unifying. So,
everything.
Obviously one of the major complaints of PC gaming is there's like 73,000 launchers. So GOG obviously is having a crack at fixing that. So
by making it so everything is available, yeah.
Correct. So I downloaded it, and you sign in. You know what? I'll even open it while we're on, just to double check. But you sign in to Xbox account, PlayStation account, Steam, Uplay, Origin, obviously GOG, Epic, and I think that's everything at the moment. So you literally sign into all your accounts, and it supports all your two-factor and all that sort of stuff. And then it just scrapes it all. It grabs everything. It grabs all the games you own, your friends list. So you have the option to include your friends list. So on the side there, I had my PlayStation and Xbox friend list both there. It integrates all of it. It even
that's very
I then
cool.
have the option to filter for you and I, Cairo, and M, who is hopefully watching. You have the option to turn on the Mac filter, and it just shows everything that can be installed on the Mac.
That's very cool.
It's fucking unbelievable.
I will play around with that later on today.
It makes me want to get a gaming PC again. Like, it's so good. The only quirk I found so far, and I messaged them on Twitter, and they gave me a link to the support site, which I haven't used yet. There's a weird quirk with Xbox, so they must be still sorting... Because remember, Xbox has Xbox games that you own. It has Xbox games that you semi-own via Games with Gold while you're subscribed.
Yeah.
And Xbox also has Game Pass.
Yep.
So and EA Access, but I don't have EA Access to know how that works. So with GOG, it saw almost all the games I own. Strangely, not all of them. So for example, I own Limbo, but Limbo didn't show up. But then Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I don't own, I only have them via Game Pass, they did show up. But then other stuff, it's weird. Like, I don't know if it's...
It must be complicated from an API perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I just wonder if all they're doing is showing you the games you have played on your account.
Yeah.
As opposed to the games you own. I'd have to verify that somehow, but I've got a funny feeling it's only showing... With Xbox anyway... I think it's only showing the games you have played. Because with my PlayStation games, it seems to be showing all of them. Even the PS Plus ones.
Wow.
Even though I haven't played them. So, for example, there's a game on PlayStation. Where is it? Let me bring up the PlayStation stuff. There's games on PlayStation that I never actually played on my account, but I attached them via PlayStation Plus. Stuff like Badland... Stuff like Broken Age. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remaster is showing up in my PlayStation list, but I've never played it. So it seems like with PlayStation, it can scrape everything that you own, regardless of how you own it. But with Xbox, I think it only shows what you have played. So right now, I'm looking at my Xbox list. And every single game that is showing is a game I have played except for like one, I think. Like, it's just all the games I've played. Actually, no, it is. It's all the games. All the games I've played, but not the games I own.
Well, I suppose there's a reason it's a beta, they'll figure this stuff out. I guess my one concern is, and weirdly, I don't know if anyone here ever owned a Windows phone.
Yep.
But they
I miss my
tried.
Lumia.
They tried to. Do you remember the unified messaging? So it would carry across your Facebook and
yes.
And
Yep,
and
that was
as
great.
soon as the first parties were like, "No, we're changing our API, or we're changing how we do it," it always just broke and broke. And eventually they were like, "Yeah, we can't keep up. We're stopping." And my concern here is if Microsoft can't keep up with a bunch of third parties doing X, Y, and Z with their APIs, is GOG going to really be able to keep up in that regard?
Red,
So I it's a great idea, and I'm glad someone's giving it a fucking go. I have doubts as to its longevity. But I don't know.
like
I'm not a technician.
Same way Google would just break apps on Xbox or Windows Phone or whatever. There's every chance that Steam, being Steam, like Valve will just turn around and go, "Nah, fuck it, you can't access any of our shit."
Yeah, here's our version.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But what I've used so far of it is
very cool.
It's fucking cool.
I'll give it a go.
It's
I'll
real,
play around
real
with it
cool.
today.
Yeah.
What else? It's been so much news. It's kind of crazy.
Something a little bit smaller, but it kind of makes sense as well when you think about it. The head of publishing at Double Fine left and got a job at Sony Interactive
for
as
indies.
Part of their indie initiative. So I assume, again, I didn't look into the details.
The PS5 indie initiative or just the general indie initiative?
Just Sony indie, I think. So I assume he sits under Mr. Yoshida.
Yeah.
Who is running that whole thing.
Yep.
And that, I mean...
Good for him.
I don't know if there was a bit of concern trolling over that, but it kind of makes sense. Like, why would Double Fine need a publishing division?
Yeah, they were quite open about it.
Owned by a publisher. Like,
it kind of it's superfluous to requirements, and they were quite open about it, right? So...
Well, yeah, I mean, and maybe this guy doesn't have any dev background, so it's like, well, what is there for me to do here? Like...
Yeah. I'm not publishing games.
So it's good. It's good that he's now part, like, a higher up, I guess, at Sony's indie initiative. Hopefully, he can do some good work there.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I think they need it because there was a big focus from Sony on at the beginning of the gen on their indie initiative. So yeah, that's good too.
And then once their first parties got going, they were like, "Well, fuck you guys. We don't have to worry about you supporting us anymore."
Although, speaking of Sony first party, and obviously I recognise that this is the XboxEra podcast, but one thing I was thinking yesterday was they've got The Last of Us 2 coming out April or May. And then they've got Ghosts of Tsushima or whatever it's called.
Tsushima, which looks real good, by the way.
Looks
I
pretty
like
cool.
That new trailer.
Right.
Look great. I'm on board now.
Also coming out summer this year. Right. They've just had Spider-Man last year. They've had God of War last year.
Yep.
They've had... Like, I'm just wondering, from a PS5 perspective, they announced Godfall at the Game Awards.
By Gearbox,
and it's a timed exclusive, fine. Mm-hmm. What are Sony first party preparing for PlayStation 5 launch? Like, what dev team am I thinking here is going to be bringing the big guns? They've had Days Gone last year. So what projects are in flight that are scheduled to drop 2020?
It's an interesting question because Sony have traditionally loved telling us about what they've got coming down the pike years in advance.
Yep.
And then new console comes out next year and we've effectively heard nothing. So,
right?
But hold on, you do have to remember history though. So go back to the PS1, PS2, PS3 and PS4. Sony has never traditionally launched big. If you think about it, true. Like Sony has never come out and gone bang, bang, bang with massive hitters at launch. They never have. They just haven't. PS2, what did they launch with? Tekken Tag and fucking some other shit. PS3 launched with next to zero. And the PS4,
Killzone
the star of the show was... Yeah, for me, Killzone Shadowfall was great, but I didn't know it was great coming in. Knack, trash. Resogun was the star of the show.
That's what's launching with PS5. Knack 3, of course.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So Resogun was the star of the show.
Knack 3 will just be called Knack the Future.
Yeah. So you have to
the John
think.
Cena music play.
You have to think, like, again, speculation. Like, The Last of Us sort of, there was a bit of a surprise there where there was no multiplayer with Last of Us.
Mm.
And then it got a delay as well. Like, so you wonder, are they just going to go the route of maybe there'll be a couple of games they'll announce at E3 next year, or maybe at their dedicated event, which I'm sure they'll have, like
February
or something
PlayStation
like that.
meeting.
They'll probably announce a couple of games there. You'd have to assume. They can't launch with literally zero.
Yeah.
But, when they had that interview with Wired and they were showing off some stuff about the PlayStation, like their custom SSD and all that sort of stuff, they chose to demo Spider-Man. And they said, okay, well, Spider-Man, look at the load time on Spider-Man. It's like 2 seconds now. Are they going to maybe initially focus on upgrading or remastering or what have you?
Like the X launch.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may just focus on, okay, they'll have a couple of lesser games.
Like your Resoguns
and whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll say, well, okay, Last of Us 2 is coming out on PS4, but hey, the PS5 version will, we're going to update it for PS5 and it'll have ABC.
And obviously
maybe
this
they'll
is
do it that way.
Yeah, this is the end though for Sony. It's got to be, right, of remasters. You're not going to see The Last of Us 2 Definitive Edition in November 2020. I hope, right? You're going to be able to just take. You're going to be able to take your digital owned copy and just play it. It's got to stop now, right? You're not going to be able to keep recharging players for games.
I don't know. I mean, the PlayStation. The PlayStation install base has shown them that they are willing to pay again for those games.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. How do they... Because, it's true. It's weird that they haven't announced anything.
Yeah.
Especially when they're known
like their pipeline,
for announcing
and I'm like,
so many years out.
Where are your games going to be for this launch? And I mean, do you remember all these rumours that PlayStation 5 was going to launch this year? And you've got to wonder if Last of Us 2 were maybe planned for that new hardware, and they've had to kind of, I don't know, change it up a bit. Conjecture on my part. Yeah. I don't know.
Like I said, there was a lot of talk about the PS5 being 2019, and then that sort of went away, and then all of a sudden we have a whole year where Sony had no shows, no PSX, no E3 presence, no anything.
But it's Microsoft that are behind.
I don't know. I mean, it all depends how you feel like connecting the dots there, but I don't know.
Best news for Game Pass recently: Untitled Goose Game is coming on Tuesday as of podcast recording. So Tuesday the 17th of December.
Have the achievements come out for that yet?
Not that I've seen, but I will be dropping a review out for that game because it's my favourite indie game. Or it's one of my favourite indie games. It's up there for me this year with Lonely Mountain Downhill, which I also really loved. If you haven't played Goose Game yet, take an evening out, play it with your significant other. It is a genuine giggle and just puts a smile on your face. There is nothing better in life than being a jerk. Because that's the premise of the game. You're just a dick. You're a goose that's a bit of a pain in the arse, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm really looking forward to playing it again.
To use the UK and Australian vernacular, you're a goose.
Yeah.
You act like a complete fucking goose.
Yeah.
You just fuck around with people.
It's true. It's true.
Speaking of Goose Game, what'd you guys think of that fucking Muppets thing for Goose Game at the Game Awards when they were announcing best games for Impact?
That was pretty funny.
I did not watch that particular segment.
That was probably one of the
highlights.
One of the stupid things that Game Awards did that wasn't actually that bad.
Cringeworthy. That wasn't
cringy as fuck. Yeah.
Like that Apex Legends thing. That Apex Legends thing. Oh
holy shit!
Shit,
but the Muppets one was actually pretty cool.
It was pretty funny.
I loved the Game Pass announcement with the Halo 5, Halo Infinite Master Chief holding his helmet and the goose just coming into frame. It's perfect. Perfect.
Actually, that Game Pass ad that they had at the Game Awards was actually quite clever.
Untitled Goose Game should have been fucking Game of the Year.
It was pretty smart, that Game Pass ad. There was like, all these games that are getting nominated. Award and that award.
I saw it.
They're all on Game Pass. Just play them on Game Pass.
Considering how often they use Goose Game as a means of like joking around during the Game Awards, I'm surprised it wasn't even fucking nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah,
it was good. It is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
I hope the achievements.
Play it.
If the achievements are easy, I'll give it a go.
Oh, mate, you can complete the game like in terms of the core objectives in about
like an hour,
hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of additional things that are kind of like a bit of a mystery that you can maybe figure out or just do a Google. But yeah, 100%. I don't picture the achievements being particularly tricky. I did see someone speed run the game and complete it in something like 3 minutes, something crazy. But they glitch through walls and get right to the end. But yeah, it's just great fun, and it's one of those games I've absolutely loved playing it with my little boy on Switch because he is just in fits of laughter at the behaviour of the goose, at the being able to honk and people fall over out of surprise. He's just charmed him, and he absolutely loves it. And he's got his friend coming over later on this morning, and he's like, "Can I play Goose Game with Vinny?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can. Keep you quiet for some small amount of time, so Daddy can chill out."
Yeah, I reckon my kids might like it. It's funny, I just did the whole $1 for 3 months thing on both their Xbox accounts with Game Pass Ultimate, so they can both play it.
Yeah. Without
having to worry about being on the home console. They'll just be able to play it.
Yeah. I'm that's the other thing as well, is I'm hoping family subscriptions or just putting people into, because Microsoft do a family account, like my little boy's got his own email address and his own gamer tag,
but not all the benefits are there.
So similar to Spotify with family accounts, I don't think they should charge more because they can digitally recognize if a family's using it, right? I just want to be able to share it across a couple of Xboxes.
But that's the thing, like they have the ability. So for example, I have my Microsoft account, I have a family, so I've got my wife and the 2 kids as part of that family. And I can share Office with them. So they each now have a terabyte of OneDrive, which I've set up on my kids' iPads. So whenever they make dumb videos of themselves or take photos or whatever, it just uploads the OneDrive for them and they can just fill that up because their iPads keep running out of bloody space. So yeah, I really hope that next generation we get actual family support. Like, because with my iPhone now, I sign in to all their devices on their iTunes store. They all have their own Apple accounts, but I sign into all their iTunes stores, and I just have to pay for the games once, and they all get to use them. I really hope Microsoft does something similar with Xbox Next Gen. It'd be nice.
It would be good. It would be good. What else? Now I've got my goose out of my system. Gears 5 and COD.
Yes, got their big updates.
Yeah. Operation.
Cairo. I think Cairo and I should have a new segment on this podcast called the Modern Warfare Minute.
Okay, shoot. Let's go. Modern Warfare Minute. I'll sit back and enjoy.
So start the clock. What are we at? We're at 1 hour 23. Okay, Cairo.
Yeah.
Is it my imagination, or did they just add a shitload of World War II maps to Modern Warfare?
Your imagination, I think. I'm pretty sure they did.
No. They did. I was playing World War II, and a lot of the new maps in Modern Warfare are from Call of Duty World War II. They brought back Crash from COD 4, but they also brought in some World War II maps. God, I wish I could remember the names. I was playing it today, and I'm like, man, these maps are straight out of World War II. Like, pixel for pixel, location for location, they are World War II maps. Which I found weird, because Infinity Ward didn't do World War II. Sledgehammer did.
You've got like 15 seconds left of your Modern Warfare
Minute. I
found that
very interesting. But I do like that they've got the Fortnite Battle Pass. It's not egregious. It's very unobtrusive. I already bought one of the little packs, so I could get a new little charm. I bought the shark one, the great white one. So I've got a little shark charm, a shark sticker, and a couple of other things. It was pretty cool. They've done it.
Cool.
they've literally just copied Fortnite. They've done it exactly like Fortnite. It's pretty good.
I'm just I haven't seen any of the fucking World War II looking maps, but honestly, they ruined Crash. They ruined Crash for me, and that was a big disappointment.
Crash from COD 4?
Crash from COD 4 is in Modern Warfare 2019 now. They ruined it because they enhanced some of the sight lines from spawn to spawn to make it easier and it makes it easier to literally just camp in your spawn and just fuck people all day, and you'll never get hit, right? They've been doing that a lot with all the maps, even the new ones, where it's like there's just so many ways that you can just get a sight line on spawn, never die, and always get all the kills. There's a lot of maps in the game like that, and it's honestly irritating me. I
had that experience today with Saint Petrograd. Which hadn't happened before. We all just got stuck at spawn, and they just fucking ground us to dust. It was. I had never had that before on St.
Fucking Euphrates Bridge is one of the most hated maps in the game because the moment you get on the bridge, you have instant sight lines for any sniper on your team to kill everyone at their spawn as they spawn in.
It's very well designed then.
The moment you have at least 3 snipers on that bridge focusing on the enemy spawn, they're never leaving spawn.
Yeah.
Someone will have to get lucky, spawn behind a wall, and force spawns to flip before the circumstances change, and that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Sounds not fun.
I'm trying to find the new maps for you.
I like how John is just sitting there going like, "Yeah, that sounds great."
You've had way longer than a minute.
I don't really have anything to contribute to this conversation.
The modern warfare minutia has gone over for a minute.
The Modern Warfare 20 minutes.
I still love it. I'm still loving it, man. I play it so much. It's so
I love it. I'm literally almost halfway through the battle pass now.
Oh, really?
This is the first game with a battle pass that I've ever gotten that far in.
Well,
I'm like 112 right now.
This is the first Call of Duty where I have finally hit and surpassed level 50. I'm at like 54 at the moment. I've never done that in a Call of Duty game before.
Really? You're still at 54?
Yeah.
I've sailed past that.
For me, that's high. I don't play like Call of Duty games for very long. Like, I think 30-something was the highest I'd gotten in an earlier game. So for me, 54 is high. For me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already like 111, 112. Some of my friends are like 90, 95. Yeah.
Holy
we play it a fuck ton, and we're actually not that bad at the game. So it's pretty easy for us to level up. Anyway, let's end this Modern Warfare minute.
I'm sorry about
that. 5 minutes.
Switching over to the next thing to talk about.
Speaking of surprises, I noticed that it started in the Discord. It was that Garfield cat Twitter account, Hoxod, or whatever it is. He found what looked like. At first, we were like, "Hold on, this game's backwards compatible." What looked like Vanquish, remaster of Vanquish. And when you read the description, it definitely intimated that it was a remaster of Vanquish and only Vanquish. And so I created the thread on Resetera about a possible Vanquish remaster, but then like 3 other people made a thread as well. So it all got merged into one. And then as time went on, more and more came out, and it turns out that we're getting a Vanquish Bayonetta combo. For the 10-year anniversary or something.
That's good.
They're getting a remaster. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to bother because Vanquish and Bayonetta are both backwards compatible on Xbox One, so there's probably no need for the remaster for myself. But yeah, both real good games, so
worth a stab.
I'd be interested to see if Sega are planning on doing that with any other past games. Very, very interested to see. But for those of you that like Vanquish and Bayonetta, February.
I heard Vanquish was a really great third-person shooter. I tried it, really, and I don't know. I don't think I got on with it particularly well. I think I dropped it after a little while. Maybe I'll give it another stab.
But I got it on PS3.
Yeah.
I started it on PS3.
Perf wasn't great on that build.
It was okay. I sort of grew up in a generation where
slideshow FPS was pretty standard.
Performance wasn't the be all and end all, and the Nintendo 64 is one of my favorite consoles. So
chug.
You know what? While we're talking about performance, I got my free copy of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Holy shit, is that game janky? Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Like, it is... Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is the best bad game, at least bad technically speaking, I've ever played. Yeah. I love it, and I continue to play it, and I'm trying to 100% it, but fuck, like... The number of just sheer glitch deaths and just
maybe you're just bad.
God.
Sliding down the weird paths and having to time your jump. Yeah. Oh, you didn't make it. You slide back off.
Or really overly sharp turns that you just can't do initially, and you end up just sliding straight off the edge, Looney Tunes style, like 10 times, and
it just feels rushed. It feels. I'm surprised to see that from Respawn, considering how good.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm still playing through it because it's Star Wars and it's fun, but at the same time, I'm just like, God. Well, I'm not particularly enjoying myself. I think Falcon has just finished a review, which I think he's planning on publishing today, for Fallen Order. I don't know what score he's going to attribute to it. But yeah, I'm with you on the jank. I'm surprised.
So
I want to like it, but I kind of don't at the same time.
Like there is and it's unfortunate because under all that shit, there is a genuine potential game of the generation sitting there. Like it's there. Like it's like if only. Like, it would have been nice if someone like a Sony Santa Monica could get their hands on it and just polish it the fuck up and make it all it could be. And the irony of that is
Sony Santa Monica touching it.
Yeah, but and that's the irony of that is that Jedi Fallen Order is Stig's game, who came from Santa Monica.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, how did you guys let a game out in that shape? Like, it's just...
I think EA just like, you've got this deadline, meet it. You know, that's it.
Yeah, but Respawn...
And considering he's used to...
But hold on, Respawn, I suspect that in their deal with EA, they are their own master. Like, Respawn seem to do whatever the fuck they want. Like, you know, they don't use Frostbite. They're like, fuck you, we're not going to use Frostbite. They use Source for Apex. They use Unreal for for Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, Respawn do whatever they want. I don't think they were rushed into this. I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe because they're not used to using Unreal.
I don't know, man. I have similar misgivings about the game, and even the combat, like feeling like a badass is janky. Like, I just find it like it doesn't flow very well. Like, I know.
And again, Stig, God of War. God of War plays magnificently. And I'm not talking about 2018. I'm also talking about the old ones. Like, every God of War game. You can have all the complaints you want about God of War, but if there's one thing you cannot complain about with God of War, it's how it feels to play.
Yeah.
And the combat. And it feels fucking tight as fuck and feels amazing to play. And then you play Jedi and you think, well, yeah, Stig came from Santa Monica and was part of the God of War games. Surely if Jedi, like, if Fallen Order played like God of War, oh, man.
Yeah, but it
doesn't. Would be unbelievable.
And it's a shame.
It just, I imagine it plays how Rockstar's games probably feel. Like, probably just like shit. Like, just, oh, man. It staggered me how that game plays. Like, I can't believe.
I'm curious to read Falcon's review and see if he had some of the same misgivings we did. But yeah, I think that's dropping later on today.
So janky.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I just wanted to quickly mention Gears 5 and have a conversation about this. Right, It's got a big content update. Is it Operation 2 or whatever it's called? Operation Free for All. I think it comes with a free for all mode with 14 players, some maps and skins and tweaks and bits and pieces. I want to talk a little bit about Gears 5 as a franchise, or Gears as a franchise, right? Gears Tactics, that's one we forgot to mention. Game Awards.
Good.
Got in the trailer. Looks really cool. And a lot of my XCOM buddies are like, ooh. So, great. But Gears 5, does it feel to anyone else really great campaign, but the multiplayer has kind of died?
Oh, it died real fast.
Right?
It died really fast.
Like, I've not gone back.
Yeah.
I said this when Gears 5 came out. I'm like, when we were talking about the whole marketing and how they focused on multiplayer, and I'm like, that's not why I play Gears. I finished the campaign. I had a great time. I jumped into a little bit of Escape. I jumped into a little bit of Horde, and I've just not gone back. And I'm not saying I won't go back. I presume I will do at some point, but it's kind of just fizzled. And I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying that Gears, despite all their attempts to make it a little bit more accessible with the arcade mode and everything else, that you're still left with the diehards playing Gears, and that's all that. All the people that are left.
I have to say, I think I'm just kind of over Gears at this point. I'm just a little bit over it.
Bring on the perfect
it doesn't
dark
have the staying power
coalition.
That Halo does.
Yeah.
No, like to me, like as far as I'm concerned, Tactics is where it's at. Like Tactics, like I always wanted Halo Wars to be a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, I remember.
And I always envisioned this. You take the turns, and then when you finally get to the point where you're attacking someone, it zooms right in, goes all cinematic, and shows that that encounter in a really cinematic way.
Yeah.
So to see that in Tactics.
You mean like how Fire Emblem does it?
I don't know. I haven't played Fire Emblem.
No.
I don't know.
It does that when you send a unit to fight another unit, you get like a little cinematic. This is the battle of them fighting, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always had that vision for Halo Wars. I thought, how cool would it be to do that in Halo Wars? So to see it in Gears was awesome. So I'd love for them to do a Halo Tactics, Gears Tactics, do it all tactics. Like make it its own brand. Like, because Mario plus Rabbids is awesome like that too. I don't know if either of you have played Mario plus Rabbids, but that's fucking great. So yeah, Gears Tactics to me looks fantastic. And as far as I'm concerned, the third person part can just die off and let Tactics be what happens going forward. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like I'm secretly hoping that the rumors that were swirling about Coalition working on Perfect Dark are true, because I want to see.
I don't know. Do you want them to be true though?
Yeah, I want to see a dev that's as talented as they are technically lend their hand to something else where they get to be a little bit more in charge of what it is, right? Because Gears, much like Halo, has to seem to walk this line of old and new, innovating yet familiar, blah 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 blah. And there'll be no expectations on that team with that game, because it can be. It's been so long; it can be whatever it wants. So I kind of want to see the shackles taken off a little bit. I'm not saying Gears isn't fun. I really had a great time with the campaign. I genuinely did. Yeah. Co-op, it was great fun. But
Who's making Tactics? Is it Splash Damage?
It is Splash Damage, yeah. And they helped do all the Gears 5 multiplayer pieces as well.
Yep.
So, interesting times.
I'm looking forward to Tactics a lot. And I reckon that would be the perfect streaming game. Like, that is a game that you would almost play more on the go than you would at home. I actually think it would be awesome, because you don't have to worry about the input latency. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. You can just play it on the go and pick up wherever.
And it's worth mentioning, I guess to kind of finish up here, 2020 is insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our good friend Thomas showed his new trailer.
Yeah, he did. He did. A little delay, a little polished delay of a month.
Yeah,
because it was meant to be February.
And it's funny, like when I watched that trailer, I was like, "Is this a new trailer?" Like I recognised a lot of the stuff in it. So I asked him in the Discord, and he said, "No, there was a bit of new and a little bit of old in there." Apparently, that trailer had to be whipped up quite quick and very last minute.
Wow.
He also mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a bit of a last minute thing, but I mean, it continues to look glorious.
Yeah.
It still looks
It
amazing.
looks so bloody good.
If we have to wait till March, we'll wait till March. I'll wait till whenever for that game. Who gives a shit? As soon as it comes to Game Pass, I'm playing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Every other game goes on hold, and I'm playing Ori.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Absolutely accurate. I it's actually one of those games that as soon as that week approaches, I will probably just book myself a day, just take a day of PTO, so that I can just chill out. But I mean, I'm just thinking, and I think Zedox did a really great little tweet. You can follow him at God knows, I don't know how to pronounce your surname, dude. At Wolfell on Twitter.
It almost I always read it. My brain always reads it as woeful.
Yeah.
I know it's not that, but that's how my brain reads it.
Feel free to correct us in the comments, Zedox, on how to pronounce that. But he did a great tweet, and it got some nice viral movement as well, because
all the first party games.
Think back to 2 years ago. Xbox has no games memes. Blah 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 blah. Right.
2 years ago, 2019, they only released 2.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Boom. So now we have Battletoads, Wasteland 1 Remaster, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, Grounded, Flight Simulator, Wasteland 3, Psychonauts 2, Tell Me Why, Gears Tactics, Halo Infinite, Age of Empires 3 DE, Age of Empires 4, Everwild, and now Hellblade 2. Right? The first half of that is all coming out next year, and a new console. Like, this is
there'd
good.
Be unannounced stuff.
Yeah, there's just so much we don't know yet. E3 is going to be insane, and I cannot wait. I think, I know some people have suggested that we do this show live, or we stream it, and maybe we take some questions in. I would totally be down for an E3 live reaction. So we sync it up and we sit here and we stream and watch. It'll be good laugh. We'll see if we can approach that from a technology perspective.
We might have to give it. We'll give it a try. We'll give it a try. Goes, I guess.
But like
next year's full on.
We are in for a ride, ladies and gentlemen.
And the best part is, don't have to buy any of it. Just be there waiting.
It's gonna be so good.
It'll just all be there, ready to download. It's so good.
It just feels like
it is
finally.
So good.
And I know I did an article earlier this year where I talked about Microsoft's vision, and perhaps a certain amount of this can be attributed to Mr. Spencer, but Microsoft's vision, the Microsoft of yore, they didn't really seem to get what gamers want, and they didn't really get what they were just aping, I feel, a little bit in this industry, and just buying stuff and doing whatever they had to do. And it feels like now we have a player that wants their games to be everywhere, wants people to be able to just play, doesn't care where you play, bye console wars nonsense, has a really decent consumer focused product in game or service, I should say, in Game Pass. And I think what I absolutely love is the diversity of the games. All right, this isn't just third-person AAA sad dad games. Pun intended. All right, I am yanking your chain, Sony fans. Don't get upset. But there is a little bit of something for every single type of gamer on that list, from hardcore to casual to sim to everything. And this is only going to increase. This pipeline is only going to get bigger and more diverse. Yeah. And man, what a way to close out 2019, right? I mean, it feels like we've got probably the best year Xbox is ever going to have in 2020. I don't even want to think about the numbers that Halo Infinite is going to do. Right, it's going to release on Xbox One, S, X, PC, Steam.
You'd think, I wager it'll do massive Steam numbers. Massive Steam numbers.
Like Red Dead Steam numbers if it hadn't released on the Rockstar store first.
Maybe.
Or GTA.
Maybe bigger.
GTA numbers.
I think it might be, like, because I think a lot of assuming, it depends on whether logistically it happens or not, but the modders, I think, will fucking go crazy with it.
Speaking of modders,
yeah.
Speaking of modders, I'm going to quickly Google this whilst I can, whilst we're live, because I think it's absolutely worth a shout out. And in fact, you know what? I'll probably drop an article just pointing to this on XboxEra.com because it cracked me up. So this. This dropped earlier this week, and the YouTube video is called Halo, except it's incredibly cursed. And it's a mod video by this guy. It's got 1.5 million views on YouTube. And he has...
Oh my God, I saw this
He's
video,
modded Halo CE in such insane way. We're talking, and I'm just going to throw some of these out here from memory, all right? We're talking the M6D pistol, except it's facing towards you, and if you fire it, you just shoot yourself. Or you could just throw it. And throw it at people, and it will have the same power as hitting a pistol. We're talking Warthog limousines. We're talking tiny little, like, 2-year-old size cars that are Warthogs that you kind of end up riding around like this. We're talking special types of grenades that when they explode, they just do completely random things, like spawn a load of pistols that shoot by themselves, or a nuclear explosion.
Jesus.
Or it is nuts. And I'll throw an article up on XboxEra.com before today is out, just to show people, if you haven't seen this, it's fucking brilliant.
Wow.
It's absolutely a laugh, and it made me want to download Halo CE Custom Edition just to try some of it out, because it just looks so stupidly fun. So yeah, definitely worth a look, and the video is very well done, so I've got to give mad props to that guy. And the only other Halo thing I could think of, and I did do an article again on this earlier yesterday, was for those that love Halo, perhaps don't love Reach so much, the 343 Sustain team for Halo 5 dropped a new playlist called Halo Mythic Arena. And it is like a combo of Halo 5 movement speed and the modern feel, with some more sort of old school design approaches to weapons, map control, and abilities. So I think we're losing some of the more divisive abilities that Halo 5 has. And with it, they've launched, I think, 6 very Halo CE feel, old school looking Forge maps. A ton of work and effort went into it, and it's genuinely great fun. So if you haven't loaded up Halo 5, it's probably worth a look.
While we're talking about Halo and Master Chief Collection and Reach and stuff, I do love what they did with the menu and the splash screen and the all of it. I like what they've done, all the changes they did when they added Reach.
Yeah.
Like, everything is gold now, and they got that Reach title screen where you see Noble Six's helmet, and I love all that. It looks really good.
I don't know if you noticed, but that whole intro, is that the new 343 splash screen that we're going to see for Halo Infinite? You know, where it says Xbox Game Studios, and it's like this green charred metal of like the Master Chief's armor, maybe, and then it comes up with 343i.
I'd have to have a look at it again. I didn't notice it. I'd have to have a look again.
But yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that.
I was playing Halo Reach SWAT. SWAT's still the best. Like, that's where I grew to love SWAT, in Halo Reach, and it's still really good.
Well, it's funny. Go on.
My only issue, Reach has thrown me a little bit with how I want to set up my controls. Because Reach introduced Sprint as a piece of equipment or an ability.
Yeah.
I've been jumping between setting up Reach to play like Halo 5.
Yep.
Versus setting up Reach to play like Halo. It's been a bit weird. I've kind of settled on traditional Halo controls now, and I'm just forcing myself to get used to that again.
Bumper jumper, bro. It is the only way to play. bumper jumper.
I don't play it that way.
You got to play. You got to force yourself through it because it's so advantageous, especially with the Elite Pad. You never have to take your thumbs off the sticks. Instantly responsive. Speaking of reach, I've got a friend of mine at work, a big PC gamer, plays a lot of League of Legends and stuff. He's been PC gaming for ages, and he was really looking forward to it. And he was like, "Hey, have you played it?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We should do a 1v1, mouse and keyboard versus pad." So we did. We did earlier this week.
Yeah.
Don't argue with 20 years of experience, boys. Decimated. Absolutely donged. If you're listening, Charlie, you got wrecked, son. I would love to have a go against someone who's perhaps a little bit... I'm not talking a pro here, but someone who's maybe even more FPS based, because I think Charlie's more of a sort of League of Legends RTS kind of guy. But he got schooled. He did fare better in SWAT because obviously that mouse accuracy started coming into play.
Yeah. I love SWAT. God, I love SWAT so much.
But I still won. So it was just good fun. It was good fun to do. I'm trying to think of anything else Xbox related.
Well, I mean, we can always bring it back around to the Series X with the Rumourmill.
Oh, yeah, let's finish on the Rumourmill. A little bit of discussion.
Yeah, we've got the rumor. We've skipped because there was so much to cover. We've skipped the top 5. I haven't done a top 5 article, and we're not doing a top 5. I was actually going to do a Halo themed top 5 because of the Master Chief Collection coming out. But maybe I'll do that next time around.
Yep.
So yeah, Rumourmill.
We need like an audio thing that I can press on OBS here.
That's right. Like, I was actually, I was gonna do it, and you know what? I'm gonna do it for the next episode. I'm spewing. I forgot. I had this thing where I want to play. Do you remember Bananarama?
Yeah.
You know how they've got that song? I heard a rumor.
Yeah. You want to play a little bit of extra? Okay.
That is going to be my theme song. I heard a rumor by Bananarama.
Let's see if we can figure it out.
So, okay. I've been given the go-ahead for this, so I don't think I'm getting anyone in trouble. So,
okay.
Obviously we were all very surprised by the Series X reveal. But I did hear just before the Game Awards started. So, the rumor that I was originally going to go with today, and I'm still going to go with it, was Microsoft having an event for the Scarlet. And when that event was going to be. There was a window of time for when that event's going to be. But, just before the Game Awards aired, like maybe an hour or two before, I got a message. And the message was like, hold off on saying anything about the Scarlet reveal. And I was like, oh, why is that? And he said, because we might be seeing something at the Game Awards to do with Scarlet. So I kind of knew Scarlet may be shown at the Game Awards before it was shown. The trailer was still great, and it still surprised me because of the way they did it, but I kind of sort of knew. Having said that, I still got the go-ahead to say, yep, there is going to be an event for the series. Like, obviously, they're not going to just leave it as, here's the name,
until
here's
E3,
the box.
yeah.
Nothing until E3. There's going to be a bit more of a traditional unveil, just like Sony's going to have for the PS5.
Yeah.
And I believe Sony's going first because the reveal for the Series X will be April, May.
Interesting.
That's when they're going to do it just before E3. Again, just like Xbox One, they're going to do it just before E3. Again, like any rumor, like any info like this, things change, grain of salt, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, April, May. And here's the interesting part. There's a game that's going to be shown, a third-party game that's going to be shown at the Series X unveil, which is Elden Ring.
Dun, 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 from Software.
Yeah. So I know there was a lot of talk about Elden Ring. Is it going to be at the Game Awards? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? I think it's going to be at the Series X unveil.
So that's where we'll start to hear a little bit more.
Or see it.
Ooh.
Not just hear about it, but see it. And that's, around April, May. So just before E3. So, yeah.
It's going to be
that should be interesting. So we still have a little bit to wait. So it means we're still going to be waiting to hear more about the Series X. But my assumption is that show may also have, who knows, maybe that'll be where Lockhart makes its appearance. Because I doubt
so.
I doubt Lockhart will appear at E3. I don't see Microsoft going to E3 saying, "Hey, look at this weak as piss."
I mean, if they do it,
good one.
If they do it, it'll probably just be a footnote.
They'll
be like, we're also releasing a lower tier.
I disagree.
They'll focus entirely on the Series X and all the marketing materials and all the promotion materials.
I see it
when
being
the end of the ad
show.
comes up. When the end of the ad comes up, where it says releasing 2020, you'll see two boxes side by side. One's the Series S or the E, one's the Series X, and they'll have the prices underneath. And
I disagree. I disagree.
Commercial right
I
there.
think that they will talk about both boxes. Right? They will talk about the strategy and the why. They won't talk about prices at this reveal, but they'll show games. They'll talk about the capabilities, blah, 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 blah. But at E3, traditionally where they announce the price and you get that, or that, when it's $3.99, right? They will say
$4.99
because it's going to be $3.99, right, John?
No,
$4.99.
The Series
right,
X is going to be $4.99 at a fucking
$4.99.
minimum, all right? And I wouldn't be surprised from Microsoft.
It's not going to be $1 over.
I disagree. I wouldn't be surprised from Microsoft if they're offering a cheaper box. They'll say, if you want the best of the absolute fucking best, I wouldn't be surprised to see $549. I'm just a guess.
Okay.
I don't disagree.
The only way Microsoft touched the poison chalice of going over 500, there is only one circumstance. Because if Microsoft charged $599 for Series X,
I'm saying
that would suggest.
I think that's where they're going to land.
That's too much of a weird number. My thing is, if they were to touch a stupid number like 549 or 599, that would then suggest they're probably not making a loss on the box. If that's the case, if they were to, there's only one way 599 works, if you could even call it working. Lockhart, 199. Take the hit on Lockhart and let the hardcore fill your coffers at 599
maybe
at launch. That's the only circumstance I potentially see 599 even remotely having a chance of working. If Lockhart's like some outrageous... like Lockhart... So if Series X is going to be an outrageous number on that end, Lockhart has to be an outrageous number at the other end to balance it out.
And
that's the only way.
You kind of get to my overall point. I mean, regardless of what I think the price may be, I hope it's $499 or less. But yeah,
$299, $499.
Certainly, they'll use the phrase. You can experience next-gen games at 1080p starting at $299, or at 4K starting at $499, and they'll just do both, and they'll just drop that bomb. And 100%, we are going to see the retirement of Xbox Live Gold. It's gone. It's out.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to fade away.
Or at the very least, multiplayer is free.
Multiplayer will be free. They'll keep gold to give away
The definitiveness of these statements is kind of worrying, because when they don't do it, then people are going to fucking laugh. So
listen here.
That's just my opinion.
Listen here, NVMe boy.
We believe it will happen.
NVMe,
Listen here, NVMe boy.
Take that L.
Now.
Shut the hell
Take
up.
that L.
Okay.
And take it home. Lay it down next to you in bed. Give it a cuddle. And be amazed at how fast it loads up.
I don't doubt that they're thinking about doing that, but we have no definitive proof that they will.
This is all just conjecture, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe Lockhart will be a Simpsons-style, low-volume, super fast-talking disclaimer
give us a back massage
at the end of it.
Point.
So you know how in The Simpsons there was that drug that Homer took to regrow his hair?
Yeah.
And the disclaimer was... may result in loss of penis or scalp. Maybe Lockhart will be a similar disclaimer where it's just like, Lockhart is a weak piece of shit. And,
Just stop.
This podcast is rated explicit. We're apologising
maybe
now
it'll just
for
be
the use
this
of the word penis.
horrible disclaimer at the bottom where it's like...
After the explicit stuff happens, we'll apologize.
Yeah. Lockhart is super weak and cheap. Don't bother buying it.
Yeah. And the only other thing I wanted to briefly mention before we wrap this up, because we're just hitting that 2-hour mark now, is Did anyone else find the double standards following the Series X reveal absolutely hilarious? And when I say double standards, I mean, did Microsoft... I think there was a thread. Did Microsoft reveal the Series X too early? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, was it a mistake revealing
Yeah, was it a mistake revealing it too early? And it's like, but at the same time, those same posters are celebrating the PlayStation 5 being revealed by a written Wired article.
A Wired article? Yeah. I'm sure if the PS5 was shown at the Game Awards, it would have been a stroke of genius.
Yeah, stroke of genius. Sony.
It would have been an absolute stroke of genius.
Man.
But it's funny, one thing we didn't talk about, because Jason Ronald, who was the head of the BC team, and still technically is while it's on hiatus, in the GameSpot interview, they covered a few little tidbits.
They did.
The big thing for me was multi-game suspend resume.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I kind of leant towards it feeling a little bit like a gimmick. Like, well, if we've got I don't know, like I use suspend and resume, and it's nice when it works.
I was about to say, hold on, yeah, that's a different ball game. Like, me getting excited over multi-game suspend resume is coming from a place of working under the assumption that this time around it works.
But
because I still to this day find it staggering that Microsoft, being the software company, can't make suspend resume work properly, but on Switch and PS4 it works flawlessly every time.
Yeah.
I'm playing Shadow... Which game is it? I'm playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider at the moment as well, and suspend resume flat out does not work. Works on Jedi, but on Shadow of the Tomb Raider doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just... It's a shame how shitty and broken it is on Xbox One.
But I think...
But the feature itself is awesome.
Yeah, well, I think my point, though, is if in one hand you're saying next generation NVMe drive, Cairo, instant load times, instant accessibility, why the fuck do I need a suspend resume function? Really? Like, what massive difference does it make, apart from it might get me in my games like a couple of seconds quicker? I'm not that fast.
It's not about that. It's not the speed. See, for me... I was always hoping, because remember how we had the whole hypervisor shit with Xbox One and I always worked under the assumption that we were going to get dual game suspend resume. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm in the minority. But I have had many, many instances where I have needed to jump back and forth between two games. Many of them. So I'll be playing Jedi Fallen Order, get invited to a game of Rocket League. I'm playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, get invited to a Call of Duty lobby. It happens to me tons. So I am absolutely...
Mr. Popular. Jesus.
I am hanging for multi-game suspend resume. Can't wait.
I'm intrigued. Either way,
I hope Sony does the same thing, because if their box is effectively the same, which is what it's rumored to be for all intents and purposes, I hope they have it as well, because their version will actually probably work properly.
Good stuff. Okay, well, I think that about wraps up. And I think we got through that a lot quicker than I thought we would.
Probably.
That about wraps up this episode of the XboxEra podcast. I'm not going to say happy holidays. I live in England. Merry Christmas, you fucks. And for anyone else that doesn't celebrate Christmas, happy whatever.
We may see you before the new year, though.
We are certainly planning to see you before the new year, and I believe we are also planning on bringing a guest along for the ride next episode.
Yeah. On the next episode, we should have Thomas Sala, the developer of the Falconeer, that awesome-looking indie game.
Yep. So we'll be doing a sort
Thomas has agreed to come on,
deep dive and having a discussion about that, and what it's like working with ID at Xbox, etc. So it'll be chill.
I had a chat with him on Skype because he bought a mic, he bought a camera, really nice mic too. He bought a whole bunch of stuff because his publisher encouraged him to do some interviews and all that sort of stuff. So I believe I believe we may be getting his first one.
Wow.
But I had a chat with him, and we
pressure.
started chatting for ages. I think we might have been talking for about an hour or so, and I'm like, we need to stop because all of this stuff would be really good for the podcast. So, yeah, he's really good. So it'll be fun to have him on next episode.
Good stuff. So, yeah, without further ado, don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe, follow us on Twitter, go and visit XboxEra.com. And we love you all, and it's going to be a fantastic year next year. Have a great Christmas with all your friends and family.
Thanks heaps, everyone.
Catch you later.
Ciao for now.
Take care.